Sounds
Good morning. It is Friday, March the 6th, and we have a very special episode of Inside the Hive this morning. In a few moments, Jennifer Woodbeck will be joining us, and she's come up with an initiative that I think is just absolutely fantastic in terms of promoting women business professionals in the area of how they have, built their businesses and then worked to grow their businesses. So just a couple of slides to get started, and then we're going to talk to Jennifer, and she's going to share some stories with us this morning. Jennifer is um, part of the BNI Business Builders chapter. She's in the life, health, and disability insurance field, and you can see her profile basically on the screen. But the one that I really like the most, because it kind of segues into what we're going to be talking about this morning, is her favorite BNI story: being able to meet like-minded business partners who support one another. And with that, Jennifer, I'm going to turn it over to you, and you can talk a little bit about what that meant and how we got to where we are today.
awesome. Thanks, Chris. Yeah. So, you know what? My little bit of background about me. So, I come originally from a healthcare background. I spent 20 years working in respiratory therapy, helping people essentially that were diagnosed with a respiratory illness. And I would help transition them to the point where, they were initially diagnosed to the point where they would pass away. So, I got to build those relationships with families, with, the hospital workers, with all these things that were going on and transition people through some of their hardest points of life. I got to a point where, of course, that's really hard on your heart and your soul. And I still wanted to be somebody that can contribute to the world in a significant way. And when I started looking at what other options were out there in a different way, I came across life insurance. And as much as it doesn't sound like a sexy topic most of the time, it was more about the fact that I get an opportunity to help people with insurances plan for those days, right? So, no longer would any of my clients ever be standing at a bedside, not sure whether or not they had to sell the home, right? Setting up things in a different way that I could actually contribute that way. So that brought me into the world of where I'm in for business wise now, which is insurances and investing. But I have always felt that International Women's Day was just a call to action. And even when I was working in healthcare, whether I was working in this, I'm now celebrating 8 years as of February, running my own brokerage. But it's become this whole other entity that I really look forward to International Women's Day, mainly for the fact that it's an opportunity to connect with so many like-minded women. And so I love the fact that we have Chris here that I got a chance to say to him. I texted him a couple of weeks ago, or maybe even 10 days ago, and said, hey, are we doing anything for International Women's Day? Is BNI corporate planning anything? And I love that Chris wrote back to me and said, what do you want to do? And so we've been brainstorming some ideas. I'm going to share some with you today too. But I am so excited that we can take our passions here and things we like to do. And I love connecting with more people in general, not just women, but we're going to highlight women all of this week. But, taking that opportunity to just grow relationships that are, authentic with from woman to woman, or just a different avenue, right? Being a woman running a business, being a woman in your business, being a woman that's working anywhere, there's different things you need to connect with. So I appreciate that Chris has, brought me to this platform right now to share a little bit too. I do what I have done, and I'm going to open this up to everybody else too. And if you know other people or people watching this after the fact too, this whole next week through social media, I am going to be highlighting BNI women. I have some other women in different entities too that I'm going to be highlighting that I know, but I'm going to specifically be highlighting women in businesses, whatever it is that they're doing, and sharing that through social media. So, I would say if you're watching this now or later, if you're not connected with me on Instagram, please connect with me. It's just my name, Jennifer Woodbeck. There's no Thompson in the Instagram part. It's just Jennifer Woodbeck. But connect with me on Instagram. And if you're interested in sending me, a little clip of something, I'll tell you what I've been asking everybody. You'll see it here. But essentially, I'd love to highlight you. I'd love to connect with you. I'd love to, help you connect with these other women too, and just share the goodness that we're bringing out through our BNI networks also. So, Chris, I'd love it if you can just play a clip of the first video, because that way you get a chance to see, and I'll talk about that in just a second too.
To me, being a woman in business means owning your ambition. even on the days when you question it. It means learning that your value isn't up for negotiation. And it means choosing clarity over fear, even when self-doubt gets pretty loud. And it means allowing your confidence to grow right alongside your success.
Happy International Women's Day. For me, as a woman in business, it is about breaking barriers and shattering glass ceilings. It's about opportunities that weren't normally afforded us, especially in the financial services industry, which has predominantly been male dominated. We're coming to the table and we are bringing empathy and strength and resilience, and we are making a difference. And as a mom of 2 teenage daughters, that's really important to me because I want them to know that they belong in every room, they belong at every table, and their voice matters. It deserves to be heard. And so for me as a woman in business, leading with heart, raising others up as we grow ourselves, and leaving the door open for the women that follow us, that's what it's all about.
For me, being a woman in business means creating my own opportunities. It means that I get to intentionally create the type of life that I want for myself, and I get to grow through every challenge during the process. And then the best part is that I get to do all of that while creating opportunities for the people that I work with.
Thank you for that, Chris. So you may have picked up a little bit of a pattern there, but essentially I asked each of these women, I've asked a bunch of women as I meet them on one-to-ones through BNI, what does it mean to you to be a woman in business, or what does it mean to you to be a woman running a business? Those two things are very different, but each one of those stories are different. Who the first person you saw, who is Jennifer Kendall, she is somebody who worked as a corporate CPA, was somebody that was interested in seeing what it would look like to maybe do coaching for women, or maybe see how she could take her financial backing of a CPA and help more women. And she's created this whole new woman-centered financial coaching that she does, which helps women in business, which I think is so amazing, but help get past all of those money blocks and help looking at how to actually, be bigger and better than you ever thought you could be. And then Stephanie Nash. So Stephanie Nash works as a mortgage broker, but runs her own mortgage firm. So for her, working in the mortgage world, she originally worked with somebody else, worked in a different office, with a group, and then decided, why can't I do this myself? We see more and more powerful women deciding that they're going to branch off and do what they need to do for themselves in a different way. And as Stephanie mentioned, right, she has 2 girls, having an opportunity to, just go and to have a different life for their girls that see her not as a mom that's just working, but as a mom that's running a business. What an impact that makes to that next generation. And then Candace is lovely. She's come to Canada quite a few years ago now, but she was somebody that just wasn't sure what she wanted to do. Originally, was working with a couple different places, and then thought, why don't I open my own commercial cleaning business? And so she took it upon herself to do a lot of research, but she runs her own commercial cleaning business. I don't even like cleaning my own house sometimes. I can't imagine turning around and helping, clean offices and clean different spaces and public bathrooms already. I don't want to go anywhere near them, so we won't talk about them. But, being able to take that and build a team. And she has a great, amazing group of people that she's hired, trained, and supported and mentored that, now has a full commercial cleaning business. So, I love that for International Women's Day this year, their theme is actually give to gain. And so when I saw that, that was my other reason for reaching out to Chris. And like, the theme is give to gain. That's pretty much BNI. So we need to do something. But really, the whole concept of International Women's Day this year for Give to Gain, it is Sunday. So that's why we're doing this on a Friday instead of a Sunday. But, it is actually to encourage women in that mindset, encourage just people in general, right? To be more generous, to be kind. I have 2 teenage boys, and they'll laugh because usually if something's going on or they're arguing or fighting, they'll hear me from another room go, choose kindness. That's like my saying in the house. Choose kindness, because boys will be boys and they'll fight and argue and just fight over video games. But we need more generosity in the world. We need more people saying you did a good job. We need more people saying, I appreciate everything you're doing. And I think the whole theme right now of Give to Gain is just so on par with where the world needs to shift to. So, Give to Gain is really a theme that I'm going to embody, especially in the next week as we continue to grow our chapters and bring people more within our businesses too. But I do have one more slide, or sorry, one more film reel that I'm going to get Chris to pull up in just a second too. And I'm just going to highlight a few more wonderful, amazing, incredible women that I've got to meet through BNI.
Running my own business means freedom, but it also means courage. Courage to put myself out there. It means trusting my voice in the time of uncertainty. And I believe this is backed so much by me believing in my big why, or the reason I'm doing my business. I'm most grateful for the chances I have with my clients to co-create their next steps and their next plan. We explore their transitions, their challenges, and what's coming next in their new chapters. Me knowing that someone is living up to their potential is my big why. Thank you.
Being a woman in business means turning ceilings into opportunities. It means making choices for myself and my family that make sense. It means flexibility.
What it means for me as a woman in business is creating an environment where people feel supported, that they feel heard and they can contribute, as well as creating opportunities and mentorship so people can thrive, and as well being a positive role model to younger women so that they can know and see themselves being able to achieve their goals and aspirations.
Being a woman running my own business means turning my life experiences into purpose. It means taking everything I have learned, the hard days and the breakthroughs, and using it to serve others. I'm not just building a business, I'm building impact, and that means everything to me.
Being a woman running my own business means I get to redefine what success is. I get to break out of the mold that women were placed into. I get to have creative control, freedom, and autonomy. I get to take on leadership roles and responsibility. I get to delegate tasks and teach other women how to build their own business and the confidence within themselves as well as within the industry. And I really hope that every woman gets the chance to live this dream.
So just a quick recap. I appreciate all these women that did this for me. I love that they did it. But the first person you saw, that was Yasmin. So she's a personal coach, which I think is incredible. And her story is unique. So the way in which she got into her business is because she's from Egypt and she wanted to be able to still go back. And so when I first met her this past summer, she was back home. So time zones was a bit off. Our days and nights are all a little bit different, days ahead, days behind, but have an opportunity to meet somebody like that specifically built her life and built her business in a way that gives her the flexibility to be back in Egypt. Crazy, like amazing that we can do all that. And then you, of course, you heard from Lisa. Lisa is Dr. Lisa. So she, same idea, decided to build a full chiropractic clinic that has developed into all kinds of other professions in that clinic too, right? A great opportunity to do your own thing. Vanessa, I love Vanessa. If you don't know Vanessa Vargas, she is the end all and be all of network marketing. She has all kinds of things she does, but she's actually developed a PSW business with her sisters, with her mom, and they run it together. And so, they wanted to have an opportunity so they could, as a family, do something different. And then, of course, too, if you haven't met Emily, she's very kind and sweet and lovely, but she's taken an interior design business and developed it into her own. It was something her mom did. And so she took it over, like another, generational family business run by women, which is so incredible and unique. So there's just a few, I'm sure I haven't met all of you yet too, but there's just a few women. And I think some of what we do within BNI, of course, we get in our chapters, we do great things with our chapters, but it's also an amazing opportunity to connect with other chapters and connect with other members even if it's somebody that sits in the same seat as you in your BNI network, right? Why not have an opportunity to just see how we can support one another and really, that give to gain. And of course, with that too, that International Women's Day coming up on Sunday officially. So I'll be celebrating all the wonderful women on Sunday too. But, the question that they're putting out there to everybody is, what will you give to gain? And that's a question I've sat with for a few days to think about. What will I give to gain? And for some people, it's, monetary donations. If you ever read some of the books that are out there about the flow of money, that makes an impact in the world too. Is it just knowledge and resources? I shouldn't say just, I don't mean that as a thing, but is it knowledge and resources? Is it something that you can give out to people? Is there something that you can do? Can you do some things on social media? Is there ways that you can do a little recording of yourself? Is there, a PDF that you can create to give out as to what your business is to somebody, a value that you can give to somebody? Is it something that makes you, an advocacy for your profession or for your group? Is it training that maybe you haven't developed yet, but you've been sitting on thinking, hey, I could just do something that I can train a bunch of other people, or maybe there's something that you can mentor, right? Is there that person that's been knocking on your door saying, hey, I really want to learn from you? Can you give back to the community to give a little bit more? So, as we go forward, I would say, please, please, please give it some thought and really, what will you give to gain moving forward through the rest of this year too? So I think that's probably about everything for me. Chris, I'll let you take over. I appreciate the opportunity to share a little bit more.
Well, thank you, Jennifer. And I think for me, when you brought this to my attention, what I was hoping for has been exceeded today, because I'm hearing stories. And I'm hearing stories that inspire me. I've been around in business for a long time, and you know my backstory with being in BNI. But when I hear stories like the Vanessas, just everybody, um, that is something that really talks to me and speaks to me. I always try and think about giver's gain, and some days I'm better at it than others in terms of how far I get with it, and some days it's maybe a little behind. But this give to gain concept, when you embody that in your business philosophy, that opens up just so many doors. So I really thank you for bringing this to our attention today. I'm going to just pull something up quickly, Jennifer, because you did a great job on putting this together. So give me just a moment while I pull this up. Jennifer has put together a really lovely social media post. I think you can see it here. It's Business Networking Week next week, and the encouragement from all of us, certainly all of us on the regional team as well, the director consultants and leaders of all the chapters, is to encourage you to invite business professionals. In this case, it may be women business professionals to chapter visits next week. And I have seen a couple of chapters embrace this already. So, Jennifer, is there anything else you wanted to add?
No,
At this point, are you good?
just really quickly to speak to that, I've sent them out to all the ELTs, also, is that this is for Instagram. There's an Instagram story, there's a Facebook option, there is LinkedIn option, there is also an Instagram post. So, we always have visitors. We can invite everybody, of course, but you know what? Let's just go along with the Give to Gain campaign of inviting any woman that has any business, anything that she's doing that's wonderful, come and meet in any one of our chapters. And this is going to be my big focus. So like I said, this week too, over the weekend, feel free to send me a message. But if anyone is interested in having them highlighted on my Instagram and shared along this whole idea too, I'd love to have a conversation and help promote you this week also.
Thank you, Jennifer. Just one more quick one for us. Next episode of Inside the Hive is the last Friday of the month. I think I have the date incorrect there. It's really the last Friday of March. I'll confirm that in the next communication that goes out. But I just want to thank you all for joining us this morning. And thank you, Jennifer, for bringing this to our attention. And if anybody has an idea that you'd like to see, please always reach out directly to me through your director consultants or through leadership team within the chapters, and we'll see what we can do to help each other as we give to gain. Thank you all this morning. I'm going to stop the recording, and then you can drop off the call after this.